Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to HLTV Confirmed. Today, episode 6 of season 5. I have my knee up already because we have a lot to fit in today's show. So I'm not going to mess around with the normal introductions I do with Prof Striker and Lucas. They're all here. You can hear him, and Lucas is going to say hi at some point, I'm sure, and I'll slow down my speaking. But on today's episode, we have two guests. TaZ up first. We have Mihao coming in later. League Ops, admin, big dog, coaching bug, all that stuff. But we're going to be dipping into the side of the Polish world of Counter-Strike here today. We'll be looking at the recent news, Steel step down, and we'll be digging into those kind of details as we get forward. Now, what I want to do is just roll the bloody bumper, Lucas. Just get it going. We'll get straight into the hot seat. We won't mess around. Now we can do the introductions, and without further ado, it is my absolute honor and pleasure to welcome to the show a legend of many generations, someone I was watching in my bedroom back when I was a 15-year-old boy in Australia. He was out there smashing the servers, a legend of Counter-Strike in its current iteration, and I think you all know him. I think you can all read the hat. That is TaZ. TaZ, how are you going, mate?
Man, thank you for this introduction. I didn't know that you're watching me when you were 15.
Yeah, man.
This means a lot.
I've been creepy my entire life.
Yeah. Same. We can talk about it later. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I've been dodging this one for a long time, so can't wait to talk with you guys.
That's perfect. Now, what I want to do here is, because I didn't introduce them, what I might actually do is allow Prof and Striker to kick off the line of questioning here. So we want to be digging into your new team. So, Prof, do you want to get the ball rolling here for everybody at home? Uh-oh. Is Prof dead again?
Not I think again. He might be.
Not again. He did it again.
This time,
This
time I take the blame. This time, no one wants to blame but me. Yeah, let's just talk about your team. I see you put on the shirt. You have the hat. The hat is always there, but the shirt, HONORIS. What's the deal with that? It was announced as you and Neo kind of collaborating, getting something together. But what is the kind of the idea of making your own kind of? You got some investment, but you also put your own money into it, right?
I mean, we kind of have partnered with Red Bull, and beside that is our investment in mine and Neo. So it's basically our child, which we want to build and just give something for future for players in Poland. Mostly, that's our main target for this team. But before that, we wanted to build like the fundamental, which is getting some results and doing something good on the scene. And the plan A is not going well. Definitely, we are off the track when it goes to winning, but we are working on it. That's the project we want to actually develop, and getting results is just one thing of a few. So. Yeah, we will see, but definitely we want to just give something back.
Yeah, I can then maybe interject if
go for it.
With you guys then trying to build something like this. Does that mean then maybe 6 months ago or a year ago when you went into this journey that you didn't have any other offers? Like, I guess people also wanted to get you into teams, maybe in China, maybe in the US or something like that. Was that appealing to you guys, or did you not care about, I guess, the money, because that would be the primary motivation behind something like that?
I mean, I think that through all the years we learned to respect the money aspect. No matter how much you have money, there's always the moment where you just don't get it. That's what we learned the hard way. But going back to your question, is like we've been thinking about the different approaches. We've been thinking about going abroad, with creating something like outside of Poland, or joining other team, or even switching platforms. But in the end, we came to the idea that it would be a huge waste if we would just leave Polish scene or just continue playing as players. Now, I'm the last guy who thought that age means not something in gaming. But still, you need to respect the age, and you need to respect the young players. And at some point, you could see that Polish scene didn't look good, which is not the state now, in my opinion. But at some point, it was just going downhill. So that's why we wanted to develop a new project and create something big in Poland, and maybe even have some competition when it comes to organizations in Poland. So players can choose, and we can also develop them not only on the level of gaming, because I think that when it comes to skill, a lot of players in Poland are very skilled. It's more about the mental side. It's more about the why do they play, what do they believe in, and I think that having me and Neo in the organization, and maybe even building a totally different project and developing players can give you this mental aspect. We can actually try to develop players who are open-minded to learn different approach to gaming overall.
Okay. Do you want to jump in with anything here, Striker?
I also imagine that having a family now is kind of tying you down to Poland, or staying in one place at least.
That's the really annoying thing with me, which actually annoys me, that I'm so devoted to what I'm doing, to gaming, to Counter-Strike, overall to esports, that I don't really take this as something which stops me. Like, I know that I have a loving family, I have a loving wife who believes in me, and if I would want to leave a country, go to different country, go abroad, even to States or China, she wouldn't say no. Maybe I would like to take them with me, but overall, for me, this is my life. Gaming overall, esports. I've actually I've been, when esports was getting born, I was there. So I'm actually no. It's tied to me so much that I feel like my family is, they need to understand that.
I guess through this, right, you've been able to provide them a life that wouldn't have been otherwise available, right? So with Counter-Strike and gaming and everything being such a high priority like that, it's given so many people these kind of opportunities, and that I think probably ties into the reason you want to be hanging around and building the team that you're doing in the organization, right? So if we look at the roster for everybody playing at home, it is yourself, Neo, as you've mentioned. You have Stomp. I remember Stomp from a couple of years ago playing at some Asus ROG event with Isaac, I think it was, and he was AWPing. Is he still the AWPer of the team?
Yeah, but the thing is that we not so long time ago, even I think 2 or 3 days ago, we announced the news that we are going through a testing stage again.
Oh.
We decided to try out our lineup again, change a lot of stuff. I'm to the degree that I'm not even shy to say that if I see the team playing better, with me on coach or with me on coach, that we will proceed with this kind of approach. For me, the most important thing now is to show not only our fans but also our partner and ourselves that we can actually develop the young talent and create a team that can compete. Even when you see that we try 2 other players in our lineup and we lose 4 maps, we lose 3 maps in OTs, it means it means for me the same. L is an L, and you need to move a different way. You need to search, and I believe that we got our lesson, and I take the whole blame together with Neo for for the results that we had until now.
Okay. Well, wow. Shit. We're unraveling things here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going deep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind digging into, talking about changing platforms. I assume with that, obviously Valorant would have been something that was very tempting. Did you play much of it when it first came out?
I actually played Neo was nudging me, hey man, let's go and play this tournament or this game. I was like, all right, let's try, and I actually enjoyed it. I had this same feelings like I had with CSGO when it was when I first started to play. I really enjoyed the game. I felt that my style is actually good in the game, and it's the style I like to play, which is very aggressive and more like animal style than throwing nades and then waiting. It's different ball game when you go in the Valorant, at least for me. But in the end, it's a decision that you need to. There are many things that you need to take in consideration when you change the platform. First of all, is it worth it, like long term. Like we see how League of Legends in look like the ecosystem, which is very closed, and at some point it's very scary, because if you have an organization, you need to have money to actually go into the league that will be eventually created, right? And then if you join as a player, then again you have all this achievements, everything, this legacy, and you decide to put everything on hold just to play a different game, like Valorant. And you can do this, right, if you're like hardcore gamer and then you feel like you have a lot of years ahead of you. But if you start thinking about your future, it's more about like using your experience and using what you learned and your skills in the game where you actually feel and everyone knows you.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to kind of go on like some tangents here for a second before we come back to the discussion we've out.
You're okay.
You're good. You're good.
My computer is like frozen right now. I guess if you can hear me, that's probably
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We'll see what happens. We'll see if she comes back, but I'll keep talking. At any point, TaZ, you ever considered like coming and doing some like English broadcast, being like an analyst, jumping on the desk, or anything like that?
I actually even casted the League of Legends World Cup, like the finals.
Okay.
The second
in Polish,
season.
or
In Polish, yeah. And we kind of lost like a main caster, so me and Veggie, the guy who was like who was a Polish legend when it comes to coaching, we were like casting together whole night. So I had some experience, and I was thinking about it like in Counter-Strike, but it just felt it's not yet for me. Like I am not in a stage where I want to go and cast, and I just want to game and and develop. And when at some point I decide to step down, I'll be more than pleased to join up and maybe cast some stuff or analyze for you guys.
Nice. Yeah.
you still have
Go for sure.
you still have the same competitive drive that you used to?
My drive is fired by people I'm playing with, so they're still there. But when you are losing, it's getting like you have a lot of questions in your head. If that's the way, that's how you want to continue or like finish. And so there are a lot of questions. But for me, like main target now is to prove a point. And every like bad comment, every hate comment which I see, and there's plenty of them, feels like a good motivation for me to not stop at this point, because I don't believe like I will create a team with 27% winning ratio. Like, come on, like we can do better.
I like that he went the opposite way of like most people that come on our show to say like don't read the comments, to go like just like ignore everything. TaZ goes into the comments and like finds like fuel for his games in the pre-match like comments.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
The only bad thing is that when you actually go to the gas station and you take the fuel to your car, that at some point you can overfuel it, and man, yeah. Sometimes you just stop reading because there's a lot of fuel, a lot. So, yeah.
I stay away from all that shit, man. When I was playing, I used to go and like filter on like Reddit. I know I filter by new. I would just filter for like the biggest cesspool of hate that I could possibly find, and it's like, oh man, I'm out here doing something I love, and I'm just getting berated every single day. Like, fuck. Anyway, I don't want to digress too much into my own shit.
Loves you these days, though. Like the last two weeks, I think you had like 2-3 appreciation posts.
Oh wow!
Like upvoted.
So changing.
It was like, please, let's just give recognition to Sponge and Machine for their casting. I'm like,
so we don't leave. We don't.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to lose. They don't want to lose any more casters. We've had enough of them leave in the last year.
Oh shit. So I just need to communicate with Lucas right now, guys. So I'm sorry, Lucas. My computer is like completely locked up, so I can't click any of the buttons and shit. So I'm just gonna keep talking, and we hope it all keeps working. So you're gonna need to guide the conversation for us here, and Prophet Striker can jump in and help me where necessary. Now, I think I wouldn't mind getting stuck into more about the conversation of like the older and younger players that you were talking about, because we have seen a shift over the couple of years, and we will get into the discussion in the recent news about some of the other teams with older players. But do you think that you think it's just a matter of what, like, the generation of Counter-Strike players that you were have done the learning for the kids, and they're coming in and grabbing that learning and just refining it, or like, or is it because the age thing, obviously reflexes and stuff start to go down, but what do you think is the true difference between like these young stars and the older players?
I think that there's a different, like, clear head, you know. There's a huge difference in a player who's like very young and didn't really compete a lot and didn't even play in bigger championships on LAN, and between a player who actually played in some tournaments, played in a team that had some achievements. He had, his HLTV org profile, and he can see and check it. There's huge tendency on to ongoing and checking stats, and doing 1 or 2 steps during the game that will allow you to live, but the whole round will just crumble. So I think that there's a huge factor with to have players who are very young, and they don't really care about how they play. It's about with who they play and what will be the end result. And I believe that's one of the main key factors that we had some success in the past as a team, that when people were joining our team, they were actually, they were looking up to us, like, or maybe near, and to how good a player he was, and his work ethic and stuff like that. And people wanted to be, in a way, like accepted or seen as a good players, but by this person. So I think that's very important to find the players who are hungry, have some targets. It's like it makes no sense to play Counter-Strike or play any other game if you have no target. Like in League of Legends, you have this clear path. If you play solo queue, you can go to Challenger, and from Challenger, if you are like top 10, like let's say Fnatic has some problems or other team has problems, they would check Challenger. Oh, this guy, okay, he looks good. I played with him. Yeah, he was solid. Let's test him. That's the way, That's the easiest way in Counter-Strike. What matchmaking? No way, man. So the main thing is that players don't know how to get to top teams. They don't know how to play. And many times when they play correct Counter-Strike, like not correct, like good Counter-Strike, where you play team play, you're communicating, you're going in when you need to go in, they have like stats like, I don't know,
Average.
-10, yeah, or average. And you look at players like on Faceit, like there are players who have like 24, 25 frags per round in like 3,000 games, right? Oh my god, he needs to be sick. And then you actually like pick up a guy who's like 20 frags per round, like per game, and he's like, oh, this guy knows how to play Counter-Strike. Like the other knows how to shoot, but this guy understands the game. So I think that's very, very important to see and develop in young players this kind of attitude and this kind of approach to Counter-Strike game.
What do you think about like this theory that like players who have never played any other version of Counter-Strike, such as yourself, you played 1.6 for what, like 10 years before CSGO or something like something crazy like that. So what do you think about new players, just coming in and learning this game and becoming better than anybody else could have ever become just because they don't have the same bad tendencies that they get from the other game? Do you subscribe to that theory?
I actually believe that players who start later have bigger chance of succeeding. Maybe not. Maybe nowadays there's a huge there's a time gap between the last update of like shooting in the game, but I think like the last update when you joined and the Molotovs were changed, like the nades, not maybe slightly. Nades still don't do damage when it's bullshit. But the thing is that spray pattern was changed in CSGO, and I think that even at the beginning the tracers were drawn differently. So the game was developed. You felt really good at the beginning, but then you learned one way of playing, then you had to learn second, third, and etc. So if someone is like joining now, like or 2 years, playing 2-3 years, he has a great chance to succeed if he has a good mindset and a healthy mindset to the game. Because his head is clear. He has this beautiful game he loves. This game was never changed for him. He knows everything in the game, and he's extremely hungry, right, to learn even more. When for example, I played like 1.6, and then I switched to CS:GO. Oh man, this was crazy. Like I was hungry to play CS:GO, but then there were like changes. There were like this constant. Hate on Molotovs or smokes abuse and stuff like that, and the game was a bit how do you say? It became like a bit hectic at some point, and now everything is normal. Like for the players who like start now or start 3 years ago, it's normal for them. It's like it's to find a way to look through the smoke or to stand in the smoke so it fades and you see the guy first. I think
they're born into the meta.
Yeah, so nowadays it's not a matter of learning people how to play the game. It's a matter of how to play in a team or how to live in a system, which is esports.
Okay. Well, up next we're going to talk a bit about the previous teams that have happened for you over the last years. Now I remember we were talking. It was probably like this time last year. I think it was in Leicester. So you had Aristocracy, and then a couple months before that, like 6 months before that or whatever, I think we're in Leicester again, and it was devils.one. That was the order, right? It went devils.one into Aristocracy.
Yeah.
So what happened there? Because that was like a project that it feels like similar to what you're trying to do now, but obviously there were some big differences, right?
I mean, the main difference is that the project in devils.one was nothing different than continuation of Kinguin, which was it wasn't like mine. I was supposed to show the way and create a certain path of how we want to develop the Counter-Strike and esports in there, but we didn't came into the certain agreements, and I felt like I had to leave and had to go a different way. And HONORIS is all about what I believe and what Neo believes, and that's the main thing. Like, we don't have people over us to tell us what to do. We have people who advise us what is smart or what is not. But in the end, it's our decisions. And I really miss this. I miss this in Kinguin or devils.one, because when I was joining Kinguin, I remember this talk where I said to the owner that I need like 2 years. Maybe first year will be very rocky because I don't really understand the scene. I don't know how it looks, but I believe that we'll win like one small event, like minor event, like at least, and maybe we'll go to a couple bigger events, but I don't think that we'll get more. And we actually did exactly that. Like, we won the Montreal, and we went to EPL, and it felt like, okay, all right, it's not bad. Well, it wasn't enough, so everything crumbled, and we had to go and do devils.one, and then we decided to leave as a team. And yeah, it's very hectic story, but I believe that everyone wanted their best, so I don't really have any I don't have like very bad memories, because I think that we tried to create something, and we actually gave the Polish community some hope.
Was it true that there was a rumor that devils.one kind of wanted you to move into a gaming house as a team or something like that? That was like one of the issues that rose up, and that's why you left. Was any truth in that?
I mean, there were some talks about moving to gaming house, but I believe that there was a different approach from the team because we had a different age, and for me it wasn't no problem because the gaming house would be in Warsaw, so it would be for me like going to job and coming back. And actually I would enjoy it a lot more because my daughter, this strange that she didn't run in for now, and I didn't close the door, so that's a good thing. Continue fast. Yeah, but not all the players could actually do this, and I really believed in the lineup, and I thought that we have everything to succeed, but there are some circumstances that didn't allow us to flourish. Right? That's the word.
That's, you nailed it.
That is a word.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a cool experience, to say the least.
All right. Okay. Well, look, do you think, because I'm not, when I say this, it's almost not a cocky thing to say, but do you think because of how long you've been in the industry for, well, it wasn't an industry when you first started, it was just a passion, right? But how long you've been involved in Counter-Strike and what you've seen over the years, and how you've been involved as a player and with different organizations, you've had to organize your own things a lot of the time. Do you think that some of the people who are at least previously involved are like out of touch with all of this? Because I know even in my line of work now, there's people who are, they're in the sales departments, or they're in the creative people, and they don't understand it from the same way. Do you think like we'll see you in the future, or like a lot of other people who are potentially transitioning to different roles, going into stuff where they have more control of these teams, and it will help get better Counter-Strike team everywhere and everywhere? Is this like what you're doing now? Do you think this will be a common thing in the future?
It all depends about people who jump into the esports ship, because if we have a type of people who trust into, OGs like original gamers, then maybe, then maybe we can create a future that we all dreamed of, right? But if we go in the way that we try to actually make a good business from it, then it can be like you can do good business trusting like gamers, but you need to find a way and let gamers or players, ex-players to decide on certain things, and you decide on other things. And there needs to be like a team play, not only on the basis of team, but also as organization. You can see many like coaches becoming like, not coaches, like analysts and commentators, like Moses, Janko, going into coaching players. So I don't see anything wrong about players who have huge experience in esports, or casters or analysts, to go and try to develop things on a business level and try to develop it, because it's a win-win situation. You learn how to deal with business case, and then they learn how esports looked and how people actually developed it. And I think that there's huge value in the history of esports, how we started and where we are now, because there's also this hate speech which you can see, and treatment for women in esports and etc. Everything developed in a strange way compared to how it looked at the beginning. You had to be different person when you started playing games, because you had to go to internet cafe. You had to talk face to face with everyone. You had to respect different approach or different behaviors. Nowadays, I think we are losing a grip on certain things, and most of the time we just overdo stuff, or or undervalue, or like we just lost balance in esports. And I hope that we can regain it faster than later. This year doesn't help, obviously. But I think that there's hope, and you can see it by some steps, by getting analysts from games to become coaches and stuff like that. Many people who are older are now like coaches, so that's good. That's very good.
There's a future for us if we want to change our careers, huh? So I think when we look at all of this and we break it all down and the way that it's all panned out, that's a very good point about the fact that when we were playing games in the beginning, it wasn't in our bedroom, it wasn't locked away. There was still a human element, still the social element, right? You were having to interact and socialize with people while still doing something that you enjoyed on the computer. And now I don't like the whole narrative. Obviously, like you said, this year doesn't help. People have to be locked indoors. But we've lost touch of like, oh, I'm tweeting at somebody, and this tweet is to another human being that it may or may not. Well, if it's like mean, it's going to hurt their fucking feelings. And I don't know how. It got. I remember, you remember, TaZ, like back in the day, we all used to talk shit to each other online, like especially like with the local, but like there'd be banter and stuff, and it was shit talking, but it was known to be shit talking between the players and servers and stuff. It wasn't vitriol, you weren't going after one another on the internet behind like a Twitter account or whatever. The forums where everybody knew each other, and now it's like, well, there's so much anonymity, and there's so much ability just to come in and say whatever the fuck you want. And if you're having a shit day, like I even notice, like if I come on this show, or if I I obviously with broadcast it's different, but when I come on this show, if I'm in a shit mood, like if I haven't gone for a run, I haven't eaten probably, I'm taking like negative energy into something, and it shows in like the way that I speak and the stuff that I talk about. And like I'm bang on, I'm with you there. Hopefully we can pass this kind of negative patch, because we need to spread positive vibes, people.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about something positive, and I think that you alluded to it just a little bit earlier. It was the Polish scene, and it's getting better now, right? Obviously, we have Snatchy and Diha over there within Sprout. Mihu's over there in fucking
NBS,
yeah.
I don't know if that's in the positive.
We might have to get him out of there at some point. But like the Polish scene, and now that it's recovering, I want to say this as well, right? Because you came in here and you said, look, you want to build something positive for the Polish scene going forward, and kind of help the people that obviously supported you over many years. I think a lot of people, and I have the same kind of, well, maybe not the same kind. I have a bit of guilt that I carry around as somebody who was in the Australian scene, and the Australian scene is obviously very important to me, but now I'm overseas and I live, and what I do has nothing to do with the Australian scene. Like I have guilt that I'm not doing more for my country and my group of people. Did you feel that when you guys were being VP and being one of the best teams in the world, did you feel like you weren't doing enough, or did you feel like representing and being the best you possibly could be was the best you could do for the scene at the time?
I actually think that when I was in VP, I wasn't thinking this way. I was so focused on different things, like playing as VP, staying as VP, and hanging on to what we actually had. That I didn't really create all the stuff that, for example, Fallen is doing, and everyone from MIBR. And I think that we are missing this a lot in Polish scene. The 4 years. And even before, when we were Golden 5 in 1.6, like we lost this, maybe not the moment, but we didn't actually grab the moment to develop our community with us. When we were developing, we should develop our community, but I guess we were too stupid to do this. And even nowadays, when I think about it, yeah, it's like what was holding us from recording stuff. I mean, it was different times, when in back in the days when you were like walking with your camera or like with your phone, a lot of people, like there are people who didn't know you had fun, but people who knew you, they're like, what's wrong with you, man? This is stupid. Like, so you didn't really get this positive vibe, like, yeah, that's cool. You had more of the vibe, like, maybe that's not too good. So basically nowadays it's a different era where everything is recorded. You want the most vlogs because YouTube and Twitch, they are so big, so you want people to follow you because there's money, right? Back in the day, you didn't think that there would be money from it. You're focused so much on grinding to actually stay afloat that you didn't have this way of thinking that this will be big one day. At least I didn't. You
didn't think about Shroud making more money than all of you guys together in like 6 months with his mixer deal, right?
Yeah, but the thing is with Shroud is a different kind of beast. Like when you listen to him, he has this radio voice. Like he, like, come on, he could read me a book to sleep, and I would be very happy. So, let's not touch Shroud.
Let's not give him any more ideas, but I think the guy has enough money at this point.
Shroud makes more money in a month than I'll make in my entire career. So that's one way of looking at how big he is.
And didn't you were the one to have an island on your own in 30 years?
That's the plan. I don't think I'm going to get there, mate. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Keep believing.
Every day I wake up with that dream. Now, Striker and Prof, do you have any other questions for TaZ's hot seat before we move into the recent news?
Yeah. Also, just if we want to touch on the Polish thing, you kind of did with VP and your responsibility. I want to maybe focus just on the actual. Like, people say that you did yourself a disservice as a team and other players as well by not actually making roster changes. Maybe before adding Mihu, for example, which happened very late, 2018, right? And then that was when you were cut, so obviously maybe not the greatest time. But do you think that also helped, not helped, but didn't help the Polish scene evolve because there wasn't that mixture of the new and young, right? Of the young and old.
That's a very hard question for me because I actually think that when I also went back to like Polish scene and made a team in Kingwin, I only made the research of one guy who was barely known, which is Ritz. I was pretty sure that Ralen and Mouse are, this new guy, like known guys, and they're like a package. And I knew that Minis has this, impact when he plays certain way. But I also know that there were plenty more younger players who you could actually like try to develop and bring to the team, like Deha later, which I also think is the same. It was the same move as with VP and Michu, that it shouldn't happen like with one guy. It should happen with more people. Should be like there should be a like change of guard. How do you say? It's also easy, to say like. To remove, for example, when they cut me and replaced Michu, you could only wonder what would happen if it was a different way around, right? Cut other players and bring 3 new or 2 new. You don't know how it would look. So I guess we have some more future to write and then see how this will look. But I think that the Polish scene was in shock back in the day. And there's only this year, I guess, that we are getting from out of the shock and trying to believe about a certain way. And I can't stop of thinking that this brings like the teams are able to beat like their like legends, like me, Neo, like VP back in the day. This gave Polish people, like Polish players, a belief that they can also achieve something, that they can also be better than us and in future. And I think that there are many teams in Poland now that they believe that they can achieve something.
I wouldn't mind just pivoting from this while we still have this topic, because it's one that's well, probably on the tip of everybody's tongue at the moment, with the Brazilian team going by the name of MIBR. TaZ, what do you make of what's going on over there? Do you think that they need to have one of these big mix-ups that you're talking about?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know what's happening there. I think that they have a core which they love to be around, and they try to find one person. But I think that bringing one guy is not enough. Like I have this experience in a way that I can see that if you bring one person, nothing changes in a team as a from the chemistry point of view, from motivation point of view, and stuff like that. Like you need to have a different approach. You need to have a different feeling for the game, and most of the time when you change like 2 or 3 players, that's when you get it. That's when you actually start to develop a different system. You have people who want to play a different way, but it's also there are some certain mistakes that are made when you make a team, and it's hard to comment on MIBR because I still think that they are very talented. I only thing I don't understand, which I can say, is that they have Holland, who is arguably like the best op player ever, and then you bring KNG, who's arguably one of the best op players in Brazil ever, and you share the op, which is a very expensive game. It's not about if Fallen should use it or KNG. It's about that you probably had in mind the double op system, and it's crazy expensive nowadays. And back in the day when I was playing, when we were playing VP, many times we didn't even use op. We were like running with 5 AKs, rifles. We were playing very aggressive, and that was bringing, that was our style in a way. So I think that that's it's hard game for them. But from myself, I really cheer for them, and I hope that they can somehow make it work, because fair. Taco, fun. I know them for so long, and I have really only good memories with these guys.
I just want to add, now that you mentioned like how expensive the double op is compared to maybe even 3 years ago, like the price didn't change, but the amount of people playing MP9s and buying and just having these like kind of force buys with, I don't know, 1 op, 1 rifle, 1 deagle, and like 2 MP9s or a shotgun or something like that, that has become much more normal because of how the economy changed, how you always kind of have some money, and going for double ops is you're just giving away rounds all the time because you need to double eco. So
you just need to play perfect game. That's yeah.
And I didn't think about it before.
As we all know, there's no perfect game in Counter-Strike, and what we're going to do is we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to go into the recent news. So Lucas, play the bumper for us, mate. All right, we're back with some recent news. Now, there's been lots of news. There's been truckloads of news. Most of it's been shit news. So hopefully we can talk about some good news, because I'm really over reading all the negative shit. Let's get stuck into the whole Cloud9 situation. So recently, very, very recently, we've learnt that the roster is being transferred, right? Striker, that's the plan. They want to get rid of their current team with JT and Sonic, the 2 guys from South Africa, and the 3 Americans. So can you kind of summarize this situation for everyone?
Well, there really isn't much to summarize, because nothing has really been announced beyond the fact that the Cloud9 are just done with this team and trying to get them a different organization while they're planning on a rebuilding phase, right? So that's basically all we know at this point.
So with that in mind, Prof, for them to go for a rebuilding phase right now in the middle of like coronavirus situation, and with the players who are available from where, we have to assume that Cloud9 are not going to be just an exclusively American team. Like there's just not enough players, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to do it exactly now. Like, why now to go into such a big change, and why?
Well, they're a Flashpoint team, though, right?
Well, it has to be. It has to be before Flashpoint, unless you want to stick with this team for another half a year.
Yeah, I guess like when they signed this team, they weren't in Flashpoint officially yet, but I think the plans were already there. So for me, it's weird that they cut this team when this team achieved exactly what you would expect from them. Yeah. Like they are like a top 20-ish team in the world, had some decent runs into like these the major qualifiers and other like online tournaments that we had. They're literally delivered what was expected from them. Maybe Cloud9 hoped that they would do a bit more, have a few more upsets, maybe win a smaller tournament or something, but there weren't any smaller tournaments in NA. It's not like there were any dream hacks except for like early in the year. So from that perspective, it's kind of confusing to me that they want to like, we're not happy with this, we want something else. But okay, what you're saying, they must be doing something bigger and spending more. So maybe it's just about the timing. At the time, they didn't want to spend more. I'm not sure.
Or maybe they just couldn't get anybody else, right? Maybe they literally just lost their lineup around Daps to Gen G, right? So they were kind of pressed on time.
I thought they sold them to Gen G. Didn't they get rid? Didn't they give them away?
Yeah,
something like that. It was transferred. Like the core was transferred. 3 players, right? As far as I remember.
Yeah, it was only 5 months into I think that lineup in Cloud9. Yeah. So it wasn't no way they walked away without being sold.
No, but it's just like at the time, as far as I remember, at the time there weren't that many players available.
Yeah.
At least not like world-class players that you can build a good team around. While Attack were like basically like a poorly paid team that was just available for probably close to free, right? So Cloud9 just jumped at that opportunity, got a team that could do some damage. Maybe they hoped for like a big miracle that they just suddenly become like a better team with a better structure under Cloud9. So obviously that didn't work out. They're just like a solid team, but nothing that's gonna change the world, that's gonna rock the world. So they're looking another way.
TaZ, you're probably a bit closer to all the moving and shaking that's going on with the players. I would assume. You heard any rumors, mate? You got anything going on? Heard anything about Cloud9?
I don't have any rumors, but for me it makes sense what's happening on the scene.
Yeah.
Like you see Voxic who's moved to bench. You see 100 Thieves who are not doing all the best, and I doubt that if Cloud9 decides to make a statement that they are changing their roster, they don't have anything planned. They at least need to be. They have to have like a coach in place, or or one player or two players who they will set up around. And I guess they have money, so they're USA, no problem.
What's it been? It's been over 2 years. Obviously, we're coming up on it's 2.5 years since they won that major, right? So the team after that was a dumpster fire, and then now the most recent version of the team that they had was probably the most stable they've had it during that time. And
they literally didn't change a single player during the time that they've had the same roster, or this roster has existed for like a year since they added Sonic. I think
I meant when I was doing the whole getting angry at a guy saying don't sleep on Cloud9 because he thought a team with Flusher and fucking Stiko and fucking
Hiroshima.
Like,
it wasn't Stiko, I think,
whoever the fuck it was.
It was Golden already, or not?
It was Cajun Golden.
Oh my god,
Cajun Golden, Flusher. I don't remember. They had like 25 changes those 2 years,
but
so it's hard to remember.
Wasn't this like the case with Flasher leaving that actually killed the lineup? Like that kind
of looked like it. Yeah, that's true.
At some point, they look like they're going to have nice team or even good results. I don't remember. It was crazy amount like in the past, but they looked pretty good until Flasher decided to leave.
The thing that I
had to leave, something around this.
Just the reason that I didn't think that team was ever going to work was because if you're a European and you're going to America, it's for a short period of time. Like, no offense to America, but people aren't staying there for a long time if you're from Sweden or if you're from like another comparable country which is better than America. Sorry, Americans. Then you're probably not going to hang around for very long. You go there for a little while, you get your paycheck, and you get the fuck out.
I mean, could you tell it to all the League of Legends players?
Yeah, but they don't have many choices. It's either stay here in Europe and play in your one league, or go to America and play in one league, or go to China, or go to Korea. And unfortunately, the Chinese and the Koreans don't speak English, so their only choice is North America, right?
Yeah, but they still pick up the players.
They still
even
mix.
If they don't communicate.
That's true.
They mix it. They try. You got to respect that.
Yeah, they just mix Koreans and Chinese together, even though they don't speak a common language. They made it work. They make it work.
I guess
Legends is a different game.
It's chemistry. It's about chemistry.
And it's also like the communication there is so much easier as well. It's just not a comparable game to Counter-Strike.
You can ping on the map.
Case. Yeah, exactly.
You can laugh on it, but I guess that's
it's just a very, very sophisticated system, though. It's like it's very good.
Imagine you can ping in Counter-Strike.
No, TaZ, don't give him any more ideas.
Honestly, I wouldn't.
But imagine like instead of like we use like this comment go go go.
Yeah.
When we wanted to like go into site, go go go, everyone run in.
I guess, or like,
or need backup, like stuff like that.
I mean, it would make communication a lot easier. That's for sure. Like you wouldn't have to call as much as you do right now.
In pugs and stuff, it would be good. I want to smoke here and here. That'd be nice to be able to ping.
But it's just even like I'm on the way here, I'm going to flank, and you just ping, and it shows like the trajectory that you're going to go through. Stuff like that. It's just like that'll be mega helpful. I don't know if it's something we know, what we want necessarily, but I think it would be kind of cool to see how that would look.
I think there's a difference between like quality of life improvements and things that take away from like the overall game. So it's probably fine. I
think communication is very complicated in Counter-Strike. So
I don't need
maybe helping it a little bit.
I don't need anything to help me lose my bet. All right. So let's
true.
keep all that shit out of the game. I don't want to lose money to you and Pimp. Fuck's sake. All right. We're going to move past the Cloud9 and talk about Steel making the shift to Valorant. He was announced on the 100 Thieves Valorant roster the other day, I believe.
That's with
Nitro and Hiko. Yeah. So Hiko had a team, and he kind of got 4 players that were just like given to him, and that was the squad. I think it was like Hiko plus these 4 guys that I've never heard of before.
I don't even remember what that team was.
And then they didn't go very well, so now Hiko's like rebuilding with Nitro, and Steel's in the mix there as well. So we have 3 Counter-Strike veterans in there from the North American scene.
All formerly IBA Power, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Nitro was too for a while. Obviously, two of them did. Obviously, two of them didn't get banned. Hiko joined just after it happened, and Nitro just like way before.
Okay, well at least they avoided that. But with still going, TaZ, how much of a hit do you think this is to the North American scene in terms of helping the youngsters along?
Well, I think that's unpopular opinion that if C wasn't banned, I'd say he would have a big shot on winning the major.
Oh, okay.
I think if Steel wasn't banned and he was trusted more by players and organizations, I believe he would probably develop a lot of great teams, or at least one great team. Because at the way the guy talks, the way he carries himself, it looks he is the gamer. Like this guy, loves being an in-game leader, and I think that's a huge loss for North America. But Valorant, I mean, also huge gain. So they made a good pickup, in my opinion. And I think that having like three guys who maybe they're veterans in Counter-Strike, but you have Nitro, who was a great gamer, like player when he wasn't leading. Like when he was leading, he was still doing good. But then they put him on sniper rifle. It's like you were thinking like why they did this guy so much bad, like
what did he do wrong?
He didn't come out so badly out of it, to be fair. Like he's won a lot of stuff.
I mean, I know he did a lot of good stuff, and overall everything was fine for him. But I think he had a hard role to actually deliver, and he delivered. So having less on his plate now maybe will make things a lot easier. And Hiko was always great on this scene, so I guess we'll see, but looks good.
I think people forget how young Nitro is because he was the oldest one in that team, and he's married and stuff. He's only 24 years of age, I'm pretty sure. So
25 now.
25 now. I was writing everyone's birthdays down the other day, so I didn't update that one. 25 now. Okay, so he's still in his mid 20s. He's not even close to the fucking big 3-0. So he still has a lot of years ahead of him. Definitely to be a star player. And still going in there, you assume, well, I don't know if you assume it might take some time for him to learn the game before he becomes like an in-game leader type, but that's a good mix of players that they have there. It's just more the hit that it does to North American CS. Now, TaZ, you were around for this. Do you remember when we had the whole split with 1.6 and Source because of the CGS days? Do you think this is going to be a similar void that gets we get ripped apart for a little while and then eventually it builds back up, or do you think we're going to have a bigger hit with Valorant in play?
I think that Valorant will be huge at some point, and I think that what we spoke about earlier about using the players who have experience in 1.6 or like CSGO, having a lot of years in the esports scene, it will be more used in Valorant than in Counter-Strike. I just have this strange feeling that people behind organizations in Valorant, they will value more the experience than people in Counter-Strike.
Okay, that's a take on it. Yeah, well, I guess there's going to be so many new FPS players coming through to an easy to access game like Valorant that the veterans can be a lot more important and integral to the quick growth of a team. Now, we only got you for an hour, so we're quickly closing on that. Let's get to this quick coaching bug hot take, because I'd love to hear your opinion on that, and then we'll see if we can fit in a couple of viewer questions.
I have at least one that I need to ask.
One viewer question we have to ask. Okay, yes. So TaZ, you saw this coach bug shit going down. We saw Lord actually make the tweet, which really kicked off the public discourse about it. What was a week and a half ago now. What's your feeling about the bans that are getting handed out and the exploit and the coaches that did exploit? What do you feel?
I'm a bit terrified.
Yeah, okay.
When I first read about it from Mariusz, I was like, okay, that's kind of scary. But then when Michał went even deeper into this, I was like, okay, so tier 1 tournaments, there will be some coaches, abusing this, because it's not when we started playing and you had some honor and stuff like that. And nowadays winning, it's like number 1 winning. So we need to develop some other aspects of our characters. But tier 2, tier 3 events, guys, this is the most scary for me, because many players, many coaches, many young up and coming teams, they don't really go this deep. They live the moment. So if they see a chance to actually go into top 30 or win one game or 2 games, why not use it? Like, and they thinking is like everyone is using it. So that's a bit scary, and I don't even know how to tackle it when you're an admin or Valve or anyone. This is so huge that I have no idea. I guess there are so many teams who abused it that at some point they'll be like, yeah, okay, guys, don't do it anymore. Because if we kill all the teams or all the coaches, we ban all the players, like what there will be.
Yeah.
I just have this strange feeling that there wasn't like 1 or 2 teams.
What are we up to now? We're up to at least 5 or 6, right? There's definitely at least 5 or 6, maybe even 7. I haven't been keeping the code. Oh,
there's an article coming out from me. It's just like later today, so where it's going to be like laid out very coherently and succinctly. So
yeah,
going to be able to update yourself on that.
Okay. Well, look, it's a bit of a shame. We're going to be digging into the coach stuff very, very soon, just around the corner. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear more about that. But let's get into it. We won't run the bumper, Lucas, because we are short on time. So do we just want to get stuck into the questions that you have here, Prof, and we'll work through?
I mean, we covered a lot of the things that were asked generally, but there is one topic that a lot of people asked about. I highlighted the best formed question about it as just, how is the Mercedes doing?
It's good. Thank you for asking. I mean, overall, it's all right.
Okay, do you think it was so important in like Virtus.pro eventually breaking up?
If so, then the VP was very shaky overall. Like if that was the case,
okay,
then what we are even thinking, like I'm not going to deep digger, but trust me on that it wasn't so pretty, but it was also a great adventure.
And I just want to interject just quickly, and this is going to go on a quick little rant because we don't have much time. But people need to understand who the fuck TaZ is and what the fuck TaZ has done for our scene, right? If you look at that thing and it's divisive within his team, then okay, great. He's right. He's bang on. The team wasn't built on solid foundations. Then, and the type of people that you're associating with need to kind of pull their head out of their ass. When you look at this overall, and this is what Counter-Strike today is missing. This is what we need to get back in our fucking CS scene once we get back to LANs. Is players with some goddamn fucking personality and some heart and some showmanship, right? It's one thing to go out there and play the game and put in all the hours and be the best. You can't all be the best, right? You can all be good, and you can all be good and have a bit of personality and show it. And that's what TaZ is, and TaZ has done. And TaZ as a fucking someone to look up to in the scene, not only as a great Counter-Strike player and a great mind of the game and somebody who's dedicated and passionate about it, but somebody who actually entertained people. Because that's what we're doing here. We're playing something, we're loving something, but we're also offering a bit of entertainment on the side. And embrace it, have some fun with it, enjoy yourself. And if I'm having banter online and it gets a shitload of interactions with my owner of my team, he says he's going to buy me a car. That banter and conversation is worth more than that fucking car for the organization than it is to just give TaZ a fucking BMW, guys. You know? So anyway, I just got a bit fired up there. Sorry about that. You know, it tends to happen. Tends to come on an unraveling part of me. But we're back. We're good. I'm in the room. Anyway, are there any more questions, Prof? Before I lose my shit?
Nah, I think we did most of the other things. I just say I can ask: Are you still on good terms with the XVP squad? Since that's kind of connected to this that we talked about.
Just before that, Chad, thank you. That was very heartwarming, man.
Mate,
so thank you for this.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm the terms. I mean, I guess only I'm in contact with Neo. That's it. Like other things are very complicated, and I don't want to go into this. I guess this is behind. I don't like to scratch the past. Whatever people want to talk from the team about me or what happened, let them do it. I'm not going to talk about what happened, how it looked, and I just want everyone to remember VP as best as they can. I don't want us to be remembered as this kids who can talk with each other or finding this guy was the problem, this guy was the problem. Everyone enjoyed watching us. We enjoyed all our moments, and I just hope that the community will remember us this way and not the way that many try to perceive us as this bad blood people and stuff like that. Like, life goes on, and I believe that we delivered something beautiful, and I just hope this will stay this way.
Wow, that is actually almost the perfect way to wrap things up. But I do want to give you an opportunity if you want to say anything to the org, to the community, to anything. Do you got any final messages, or do you want to leave it there?
I guess only thank you guys for having me. I didn't know that this would be so pleasant stay and such a great interview. So keep on
Maybe
rocking, and that's it.
Avoid
That's
us
it.
for 6 months.
Yeah,
if you knew,
I mean,
right?
I could thank all our fans, but I know that people know that I'm grateful, and I just want you guys to know that you are doing a great job, and I'm grateful to you too.
Oh, thank you very much. And look, if you want to come back on the show sometime soon, mate, we will get you back on, and we'll get you on for the full 2 hours so that we can really dive deep into some of these topics and get your opinion. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. And yeah, look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, an absolute legend of Counter-Strike, TaZ. He'll be shooting off right now. Make sure you follow him in his adventures. Now, Lucas, I assume you're going to handle this whole handover bit. Well, I'll let you do that. And we'll fill a little bit of dead air right now. So